Hey everyone, how's it going? So, I was looking through the Pokemon I've yet to do, and I was shocked that I haven't done Rattata yet. I mean, it's such a staple in Generation 1, and while I have done Pidgey a while ago, before today, I haven't tried this challenge with Rattata, and so I'm gonna do my best youngster Joey impression and try and beat the entire game with what truly will be Rattata in the top percentage of Rattata, because I do reset to make sure this thing has decent stats. Speaking of which, Rattata's stats are pretty bad, 8th worst in red and blue, and that's actually a bit misleading because for those Pokemon it's actually impossible to do this challenge with, so Rattata ends up being the 4th worst. However, there are a couple saving graces. One of them is that Rattata has good enough speed and attack. Sure, they're not excellent, but for the sake of this challenge, they're okay. On the flip side, it has barely any HP, defense, or special, so that's pretty bad. However, its move pool is actually pretty decent. It's going to learn a really powerful move early on at level 14, has some decent coverage. Sure, it's not a huge move pool, but the moves we have available, there are some strategies I can see. Having said that though, for now, we're stuck with normal moves, but we at least get Hyper Fang at level 14, and as soon as we get to level 14, we can take on Brock. Now, the strategy with Brock is just to use Hyper Fang again and again and again against Geodude. It does have a chance to flinch, so you want those. You also would prefer Geodude to not use Defense Curl too much, because you'd want a bunch of Hyper Fangs left for Onix. Now, with Onix, I got some bad luck. I mean, I won, so it wasn't that bad, but you just want to get buyed. That way, I would be able to set up Tail Whips and Onix would go down very quickly. I mean, I guess I could have gone for Tail Whip anyway, but I decided to go for Hyper Fang to get that flinch chance. Luckily, Onix doesn't really do all that much anyway, so eventually I get the bide and I'm able to knock out Onix, and this was my 3rd attempt, so it wasn't like first try, easiest battle ever, but considering we're using one of the weakest Pokemon and not very effective moves, I will more than take it. And Mount Moon, because we have Hyper Fang, is going to be pretty easy. But once we make it through to Cerulean, can I possibly defeat Misty? No. I mean, speed is already a problem with Staryu, but yeah, Starmie, that great special, my terrible special, Bubble Beam, just not gonna happen. So we're gonna face rival number 2, and this battle is won and lost with the very first Pokemon he sends out, Pidgeotto. It will be knocked out in 2 Hyper Fangs, but that does give Pidgeotto maybe 1, maybe 2 turns to attack if it uses Quick Attack. We really don't want to see Sand Attack, but as with Brock, assuming you don't get bad luck, it does take a couple tries, but you are able to get by Rival 2 with minimal issues, and I made it part of the way through Nugget Bridge. There is a hiker I'm going to have to fight, so I decided to backtrack to Misty and see if, now that I'm a couple levels higher, perhaps I could beat Misty, and the truth is, well, I'll show you the battle. So, Staryu I do outspeed, but it's not a 1-hit KO with Hyper Fang, and Water Gun did 17 HP, which is just over a third. That's not good. I take it out with Quick Attack, but I'm pretty sure this battle is not going to go my way. Yep, no critical hit there, just regular Water Gun. I'm down at 1 HP, but after hitting with the first Hyper Fang, Misty inexplicably decides to go for X Defend, and I get a critical hit. Thankfully, I still have Quick Attack, so that is one of the rare chances Quick Attack ends up being really useful, and I have defeated Misty probably much earlier than I should have. To be fair, what I should have done is gone slightly out of my way to collect the TM for Water Gun in Mount Moon. I thought I wouldn't need it because I would just get Bubble Beam from Misty, and so while sometimes I'll reset when I get really lucky like this, I chose not to in this case, because the real reason I need to beat Misty right now is Bubble Beam will make that hiker really trivial. Without it, he might take a while, it could be difficult. So, I'm just going to accept the battle. This was my first try re-battling Misty at the higher level and my 2nd attempt overall, so yeah, we're just going to move on, make our way through Vermilion, and of course, we're going to battle Rival 3 on the SS Ant. Now, as some of you who've watched my videos know, there is a TM for Body Slam. I actually forgot to get it. Not a big deal because Hyper Fang is just a little less powerful, but it's also 90 accuracy versus 100, so I'm going to go and backtrack, but for now, we're going to stick with Hyper Fang for Rival 3. Pidgeotto is still a 2-hit KO. Thankfully, there is a 1 in 4 chance that status moves will just fail, and I got a Sand Attack fail. I use Quick Attack to avoid Pidgeotto using Quick Attack. It still knocks it out. I'm hoping I'll knock out Raticate in one hit. Its defense is also pretty bad. And that's exactly what happens. Now, so long as I don't miss, that should knock out Kadabra in one hit. And Wartortle I'm hoping will be 2. That first hit does around half, so maybe it won't. Bubble does next to nothing, so I'm not too worried. And I do knock it out with the next Hyper Fang. Pretty easy battle. And it doesn't appear that Body Slam would have made too much of a difference anyway, so we can get the HM for cut, backtrack, battle the one extra trainer to get Body Slam. But the TM that's going to be most helpful for the next part is, in fact, the TM we get a little earlier, TM28, Dig. Now, for whatever reason, in Generation 1, Dig is 100 base power, or the same as Earthquake is today. It's been changed, but that is very, very helpful right now, because that means we'll pretty much have a very safe chance of one-hit KOing every one of Lieutenant Surge's Pokemon. Now, because it takes 2 turns, I wanted to see if Body Slam would knock out Voltorb in 1 turn. That was risky, and it didn't. Had it gone for Sonic Boom, that could have been problematic. It luckily didn't, and I do knock it out the next turn. Pikachu has terrible defense, so I know Body Slam will knock it out. Now, Raichu does outspeed, but Lieutenant Surge decides to go for an X-Speed. Great AI Generation 1 has. And then I miss a Growl underground and knock it out with a single dig, or not. Thankfully, I still have Quick Attack, and I'm going to erase it very soon for a Thunderbolt, so yeah, it did its job. 2 battles, it was very helpful. So go Rattata, looking really good so far. And we're making pretty good time. I mean, obviously Brock took longer than a lot of the other top tier Pokemon, but this is not looking like it's going to be in the same sort of low tier as Pidgey. You know, I'm pretty optimistic, and with our moveset, Rock Tunnel doesn't prove to be challenging at all. That Hiker with the 2 Geodudes and Graveler, I have Bubble Beam. Nothing to worry about there. So we can go to Celadon and do what I like to do, which is the most optimal strategy. Rocket Game Corner, Shopping, Fly, Lavender Tower, and then hopefully Erica. So we're going to start at the Rocket Game Corner. None of the trainers pose too much of a challenge, but of course, Giovanni is always a little scary. His first 2 Pokemon really aren't with Bubble Beam, but Kangaskhan, I'd run out of potions, so it knocks me out in 1 hit. The truth of the matter is, Kangaskhan can go really well or really poorly, depending on what he does. If he uses Guard Spec and Rage, you can lose next to no HP, and healing was redundant. Of course, I get that luck after I go and backtrack for the Hyper Potion, but it's all good. We've beaten Giovanni. Now it's time to head over to Lavender Tower. And I'm not too worried about rival number 4, but, you know, don't want to be overconfident. And it turns out, no, it's not too big a deal. Pidgeotto is a 2-hit KO, and Body Slam and Thunderbolt do roughly about the same at this point. Growlithe, I think Body Slam will knock it out, but I go for Dig, whatever. Execute just misses being a 1-hit KO. Thankfully, I get decent barrage luck. I am able to knock out Kadabra with 1 Body Slam, and Wartortle tries its best, but it's no match for my Rattata at this point. And rival number 4, like in a lot of runs, is fairly easy. We can then move through Pokemon Tower without too many issues. And now we can make it to Erica. And this is a signal of what's to come in this run. Because Rattata's terrible defense doesn't get exploited early on. Since its attack is so good for the early game, it's able to knock out most of the Pokemon that would pose too much of a threat. However, with Erica's fully evolved Pokemon, I mean, this time I get knocked out by Sleep Powder and Mega Drain, but once I try again, Victory Bell goes for Razor Leaf, and that's just a 1-hit KO. It will always critical hit due to the critical hit mechanics that Gen 1 has. So, yeah, pretty much an impossible fight if Victory Bell uses Razor Leaf, and that's a good sign that I may want to come back. I don't need to do Erica right now. It does waste a little time to try and defeat her and then fail, but hey, it happens. So I'm gonna now take my talents down to Fuchsia City and go and get HM3 from the Safari Zone and see if I could defeat Koga. I do have Dig, it's super effective, but Koga's Pokemon are high level, I mean compared to me at least, and they have pretty decent defense. So I try, and I actually make somewhat decent headway, knocking out the first Coughing without too many issues, and somewhat more luckily being able to knock out Muck. However, after using an X attack while I was underground with Dig, Koga uses Sludge, and even at 48 HP, which I think is pretty decent, I get knocked out, and I did try just to get back to this Coughing, and I couldn't. I actually would get knocked out sometimes against the first coughing. Plus, because it took multiple turns, there was a chance to use smokescreen, minimize, etc. And it's just not a battle I want any part of right now. However, my options are kinda limited. I mean, I did try to battle Rival Fivel. I wasn't too optimistic. His Pokemon are such high level. I do have good coverage, but as you're seeing, good coverage doesn't mean all that much when you're not really able to do enough damage. And I really wasn't making any headway against him. I mean, there was one battle where I was oh so close to knocking out his Blastoise, but in the battle, as you saw, I got incredibly good luck already, and yet still I didn't knock out Blastoise. And in most of the other battles, I would get knocked out by Pidgeot or just a bit later. So, no, this is not the time to battle him. There are some trainers around where I should gain some levels, and while it does waste time to go out and do this, you have to pick your spots, and this is definitely a spot where I'm just not at a high enough level in order to do what I need to do. And there were a few mandatory battles I got out of the way, such as the trainers in Koga's gym, and the one Team Rocket member with the Arbok, so I am a couple levels higher. Let's try to battle Erica one more time. Maybe Razor Leaf won't want to KO? Well, I guess it won't if I get a critical hit, that's kinda nice. It is a 2-hit KO on Tangela, which goes for a Constrict, arguably the worst attack in the game, and Vileplume thankfully misses. So yeah, that's Erica. Valuable XP. Perhaps I maybe could have beaten some of the trainers in her gym for more XP, but at this point I was kinda hoping that if I beat Erica, I would get that little edge I needed to beat either Koga or Rival Fivel, but I don't know. Like, yeah, one battle was so close, but the truth of the matter is, I really am not that close, and so even with the rare candies used, which put me at a higher level than most of his Pokemon, wasn't happening, so I decided to battle some of the Team Rocket members close by, especially ones with fully evolved Pokemon, and rather than battle Rival Fivel, usually Koga proves to be a bit easier, so I'm going to head back to Fuchsia. I'm going to try without rare candies first, and if that fails, I'm just going to use the rare candies. And sure, I like to use them at the end of the game usually, but I think it'll save me time to just use them here, so if I have to, that's what I'm going to do. So this time, because I know Koga likes to use X Attack turn 1, it's going to be a 2-hit KO anyway. I go for Body Slam, there's the X Attack, and then I go for Dig and knock out the first coughing. Pretty good. Now, he likes to do it with Muck as well, and that is what happened, but I was also worried about Minimize, so I just went for Dig off the bat. Thankfully, I get really lucky, and rather than attacking me, he goes for a second X Attack, and I'm able to knock him out the next turn with a Body Slam. And oh yeah, that crit was pretty important as well. Good luck so far, but there are still 2 Pokemon to go. Now this coughing, I'm going to do the same thing I did against the first coughing, except no I'm not, I just got a critical hit, okay. It goes for Smog, and I'm worried about Poison, but it doesn't happen, and I don't even need to use Dig, I can just knock out this coughing. And now wouldn't it be amazing if I use Dig, it goes for Self-Destruct, and oh yeah, that is always very, very satisfying when it works out. And while I definitely could have leveled up and made this fight a lot more trivial, I'm perfectly happy to do so at this level. Didn't really matter, to be fair, because I'm probably going to need to use the rare candies anyway before Rival Fivel, which is why even though this battle had some decent luck in it as well, I'm pretty satisfied with it. Since I know how to use the rare candies, coughing probably would have been a 1-hit KO with Dig, and it would have been completely trivial anyway. So, you know, leveling up a lot, some critical hits. It is a 14% chance with my base speed, so yeah, I'm just gonna accept it and move on. And here's where I really galaxy brained myself, by which I mean, I was trying to be clever, but in the end, it was just really silly what I was trying to do. I opted to go to Cinnabar, and while I didn't battle any extra trainers there, I thought maybe I had a chance of defeating Blaine, and the truth is, I can get through his first 2 Pokemon pretty easily, and Rapidash, well I wouldn't say easily, it was kinda trivial, but then, look how much damage Dig just did to Arcanine, and look how much damage it just did to me. Yeah, what am I doing? I mean, sure, I had to go here anyway, but Sylph Company and Rival Fivel is where I should be right now. The trainers are a lot weaker. Dig is slow anyway, and when it takes more than 1 turn, it's just really not great to use. My reasoning once again for trying to do it in this order was I do want to save my rare candies till the very end, But it's becoming more and more clear that when you have a Pokemon with such bad stats like Rattata, especially defensively, you're gonna need to level up. I mean, sure, this will cost time later in the run, but it's what I have to do. So I battle a few more trainers in Sylph Company, I battled Rival Fivel a few more times unsuccessfully, and now I've finally leveled up, used all 7 of my rare candies, and now I'm at level 47, and this is in fact my first time battling the rival at this level. And it's pretty funny that this section I've gone from being pretty underleveled to kind of overleveled, but the question is it enough? Well, one other positive of going to Cinnabar is that I have Blizzard, so I use it, it does over half. Pidgeot goes for Wing Attack, and it does significantly less damage now. I'm able to knock out Pidgeot the next turn, so far so good. I don't want to take any chances versus Growlithe. Maybe Body Slam would have knocked it out, I don't think it would have, but I use Dig, it knocks it out. Easy. Now again, because this is my first battle and I'm trying to play it safe, Blizzard has a chance to miss. I think it's going to be a 2-hit KO anyway. Maybe I'll get the Paralysis. Well, I don't, but it does pretty decent damage. Execute goes for Reflect, which doesn't really matter since it only affects Execute. It has such low HP anyway, and the next Body Slam knocks it out. Now, definitely am happy I just outsped Alakazam. Didn't know it would run a KO, but it does. And now I have Thunderbolt, Blastoise. It has pretty bad attacks. This is looking alright. Of course, getting a critical hit and a couple withdraws make this look even easier than it probably would have been otherwise. Am I a little too overleveled? Who's to say? But we finally got past Rival Fivel, and we're at a significantly higher level than we were before, so that's probably going to make Blaine trivial, and I am going to go to Blaine right after I defeat Giovanni. Giovanni's going to be pretty easy for me. While I don't have a water move, I do have Dig for Nidorino. I was a little worried about Kangaskhan, but thankfully it didn't prove too problematic. Rhyhorn, Blizzard still knocked it out, and Nidoqueen took more than one hit, but if you look at its moveset, it's pretty awful. So Giovanni once again ends up being trivial, and I fly back to Cinnabar, and now I'm ready to battle Blaine. Much higher level this time. We did like no damage to our Canine, so that's gonna have to change. So let's try this battle once again. Unlike Rival Fivel, I decide to play a little risky, and I go for Body Slam, and it comes oh so close to knocking out Growlithe, meaning it would have knocked out Rival Fivel's Growlithe. Goes for Agility. Thankfully, it gets a failure on the Leer, and I'm able to knock it out. That means I probably should have gone for Dig, but it's 2 turns anyway. However, I am vulnerable, so I get hit with Stomp. That was not my best decision, but hopefully it doesn't matter. I don't know if Rapidash will be a 1-hit KO. I go for Dig, and I get a critical hit, so I still don't know. And the big question is, what's going to happen against our Canine? Another critical hit. You know what? Whatever. I'm once again not going to redo the battle. And that's 6 gyms down, 2 more to go. Sabrina, I did want to save because the faster I am, the more damage I do, the more trivial she becomes. And I do actually lose my first time, not due to Kadabra, outspeed 1-hit KO, not due to Mr. Mime, outspeed 1-hit KO. It's due to Venomoth, well, indirectly. Venomoth is not a 1-hit KO. It goes for Stun Spore, which allows the Alakazam to outspeed me, goes for Reflect, so it's not a 1-hit KO, gets a critical hit with Psybeam. So that's pretty bad luck. The next battle, the same thing happens with the Kadabra and the Mr. Mime. Venomoth, though, goes for Poison Powder, and would you look at that? I outspeed 1-hit KO Alakazam, so Sabrina was trivial in the end. That means I waited to the perfect time to battle her. And we have just 1 gym left, Giovanni. I'm not too worried. I have Blizzard, I have Dig. Probably should be a first try victory, but I don't want to get too overconfident. Blizzard 1-hit KOs Rhydon. Okay, now will I outspeed the Doug Trio? I do, but Blizzard actually just misses out on the 1-hit KO. Maybe Body Slam would have done more damage. Whatever, thankfully used a Guard Spec, so I knock out Doug Trio the next turn. For Nidoqueen, I'm not sure it'll even be a 1-hit KO, but I'm going to go for Dig, and in fact, it's not a 1-hit KO. Thankfully, Giovanni loves his Guard Spec, so down goes Nidoqueen. Nidoking has worse defense, so maybe it'll be a 1-hit KO, probably not. Especially if I'm busy looking ahead to the Elite Four and not paying attention to what I just clicked, and I hit Blizzard. Thankfully, it didn't miss. And thankfully, the Nidoking doesn't use Thrash or something, which could have done a lot of damage. That could have been really bad, but luckily, no harm, no foul. Well, sort of, because now I only have 1 Blizzard left for Rhydon, but I get a Freeze. It's actually impossible to be unfrozen in Generation 1 unless I use a Fire move, which I don't have. So I can use Dig, I can use whatever I want. And that is all 8 gym leaders. In about 4 hours, that's really, really good for 8 gyms. I mean, again, we're not talking top tier, but considering this is the 4th worst Pokemon statistically, at least in terms of average base stats, very impressive. A great showing by Rattata so far. However, just like in sports, while I always call this the regular season, it's kind of meaningless. We don't care how good a regular season you have, it's how you do in the playoffs that determines whether you become a champion. And Rival 6 was looking pretty challenging, albeit not his first few Pokemon. Pidgeot could do a little bit of damage, Rhydon was a 1-hit KO, and Execute could be annoying if it decided to use Stun Spore. However, the Pokemon that was really giving me issues was Alakazam, because Alakazam now outspeeds, and Body Slam is no longer a 1-hit KO. And so in 2 consecutive battles, I would make it to Alakazam in pretty good shape, only to be completely obliterated by Alakazam. And so I had to make a choice. I know there's a way I could get around this battle really easily, and with minimal time investment. However, it could be bad in the long term, by which I mean literally the next mandatory battle. But I decide, whatever, I'm gonna go ahead. I have the Pokédoll because that's always an option. I'm gonna delete Thunderbolt. I'm not really using it all that much, and I'm gonna teach Mimic. And you all know why, because we're going to take advantage of the Badge Boost glitch. For those of you who are new, the Badge Boost glitch is a mistake in Generation 1. When you collect badges, your stats get a 12.5% increase. However, every time your stats are modified, say by mimicking Pidgeot's agility, your stats get an additional 12.5% boost that was not intended. And while it's technically a glitch, it's pretty hard to avoid using this because anytime an opponent uses Leer or something like that, it activates. So if it's going to be used without me trying, I might as well use it. It's pretty arbitrary to say, well, if the opponent does it, it's okay. No, it's either allowed or it's not allowed. It's allowed. We're going to use it. And it does 2 things. It's going to speed me up, but it's also going to allow me to do just a little bit more damage. As you can see, everything's a 1-hit KO, although Execute was a critical hit, so I'm not really sure. But Alakazam, this is the one you can see. Obviously, I outspeed because I'm really fast with all 3 agilities, and it's a 1-hit KO with Body Slam, so there's the attack power being greater. However, I did have to delete Thunderbolt, and I'll talk about why in just a second, but Blastoise could be tricky. Thankfully, I get Withdraw, and then I get Skull Bash, which is a 2-turn attack. So in the end, the withdraw really didn't matter. It was a 3-hit KO with Body Slam anyway. And my first try with Mimic, I'm able to get past rival number 6 and move on to the Elite 4. And let me just tell you, this went poorly. Very poorly. And let's discuss why. Lorelei. I'm not kidding. Usually it's Agatha, but no. Lorelei, just getting past her proved so difficult. I could manage it maybe 1 out of every 12 or so attempts, depending on the level. So, spoiler, we're gonna level up. But why? Well, this is why deleting Thunderbolt was kind of a bad idea. Because while for Dugong it actually would have made more sense to use Body Slam, it would have done more damage, Cloyster has one of the best defenses in the entire series, but not great special. So Thunderbolt would have done way more damage. While Mimic is only going to be useful if we get to the Slowbro where I can mimic Amnesia, and that would make the whole battle trivial. But I can't even get past Cloyster. I do such little damage to Cloyster, and so you're probably asking yourself, J-Rose, why did you delete Thunderbolt? Well, it was the only move I could delete. Body Slam is normal type like Rattata, and it's a physical attack. There's no way, unless I wanted to delete it and teach Double Edge, then have to worry about recoil. Maybe that's what I could have done, but I don't like dealing with recoil damage. It actually ends up making things very tricky with managing HP. And then Blizzard, I think you can guess for Lance, it's going to be quite helpful. Plus, it's base 120 power versus base 95 power. So it's a much stronger move. Dig? That's what makes Agatha not really difficult in this run. So the only option I really had was Thunderbolt, and Thunderbolt was needed for Lorelei. Thankfully, I did have a backup in the back of my head. Just in case there was no way to get by Cloyster without an electric move. Let's look at that move pool again. There is one more electric move. I never use it because of its terrible 70% accuracy. But we can go to the power plant, There's also another rare candy that I almost never get. And yes, it's going to cost a little bit of time, and thus perhaps maybe I should have just leveled up before Rival 6 and kept Thunderbolt. However, because the trouble spot is Lorelei, while I don't like relying on luck, we don't save between Elite Four battles, but Lorelei is the first battle. So I don't have to really worry about getting bad luck with Thunder missing and having to redo a bunch of battles that could be very tricky. I can just reset and do again and again and again. That being said, it's not fun to do that. So I do want Lorelei to be somewhat consistent, but let me be honest, Thunder actually makes a little bit of sense because that base 120 power actually ended up making it almost as good, not even as good, but almost as good as Body Slam, at least against any Pokemon that is in Cloyster. Had I had Thunderbolt, Body Slam would have always been the better move. And this brings up another issue I was running into when I didn't have Thunder. You may have noticed, Lorelei has attack dropping moves, whether it be Aurora Beam or Growl. She can drop my attack. Heck, Slowbro can use Withdraw. So special attacking moves are going to be helpful in this battle, and if my attack is dropped, knowing I have a move that is almost as good, well, that's pretty helpful. That being said, you're seeing a montage of unsuccessful Lorelei battle after unsuccessful Lorelei battle. So let's show you what a successful one looks like. Well, to show you that, I'm going to have to get all the way up to level 62. Tons of leveling up. And don't forget, I'd already used the bulk of my rare candies. I do have 3 more. And so I've spent roughly about 50 minutes leveling up my Rattata, getting Thunder, doing everything I need to do. So, what happens at level 62? Well, Body Slam against Dugong is almost doing half, just missing. Thankfully in this battle, Dugong goes for Rest, which will allow me to knock out the Dugong without taking a single Growl or any damage. Very good, but the scariest Pokemon is the next one, Cloyster. Very rarely do I say that, in fact almost never. And wouldn't you know, I get a Thunder Miss and a 5-turn Spike Cannon, which both waste time and takes away HP. Great start. However, as if the game wanted to make sure I wasn't too upset, I hit the next turn and get a critical hit, which, let me tell you, definitely mattered, and I knock out the Cloyster. Now, as you may have seen, I have made it to Slowbro before, so it's not like this is exactly new. But Thunder does do more damage because Slowbro has such great defense, and there's the Growl. This is why I needed Thunder. I mean, Thunderbolt just wouldn't have been as effective, and now I can't use Body Slam versus Lapras. Very annoying I got hit with that, but what can you do? And that means Jinx is probably not going to be a 1-hit KO unless they get a critical hit. Nope, not even close, and yes, it definitely would be. Ice Punch does very good damage, but I still have 17 HP. Lapras will just need to hit with anything and I lose, but hey, critical hit maybe? Nope, Thunder misses, I get knocked out, and wait, didn't you say you were going to show a successful battle? Well, I didn't say it would necessarily be the first battle I showed, now did I? And the truth is, I think this battle showed all the various things that can go wrong, and how easy it is for me to lose, but it's also kind of easy for me to win if I get really lucky. I mean, I opt to go for Thunder and I get hit with Growl, so that's pretty bad, but I still don't have any damage against me versus Dugong, that's good. Now, I miss with Thunder, but Cloyster misses with Clamp, and then I hit with Thunder, and even with the badge boost due to Growl, still just miss knocking it out, but I put it within range to be healed with a Super Potion, and I'm able to knock it out the next turn. On to Slowbro. Thunder hits again, and Withdraw is very good. Thunder misses, but Withdraw is still very good, and Thunder hits, so there goes Slowbro. Once again, Jinx will not be a 1-hit KO unless I get a critical hit. Still no critical hit there, but Double Slap, 10 damage, very good. Now we just need to hit against Lapras, but Thunder is still doing about a third, and Hydro Pump nearly takes me out. And yes, that Growl ended up saving me. Had I not been hit with Growl, it would be a 1-hit KO with Hydro Pump. Thankfully, I hit again with Thunder, puts it in range for the retroactive Super Potion, and then knock it out with Thunder. But yeah, my first victory against Lorelei was not a work of art, and already I'm thinking, if I don't win right here, I'm going to need to level up, because the chance I'm able to repeat this is pretty slim. And I'm not actually joking here, I'm slightly worried against Bruno. I mean, sure, Onix will be a 1-hit KO with Blizzard, and oh, look at that, but Hitmonlee has fighting attacks. I mean, Hitmonchan I'm not too worried about unless it, like, burns or paralyzes me or something. Meanwhile, I'm doing the paralyzing, and it used an X defend, but Hitmonlee has fighting moves. I have terrible defense, and it may not be a 1-hit KO. And it isn't. Close, another X defend, but again, this is where I'm thinking if I don't somehow luck out a victory against the champion, level 62 is not good enough. This needs to be a 1-hit KO. I can't allow Hitmonlee to one-shot me with a fighting move. Second Onyx, once again, no issue, and Machamp has submission if it decides to go for it. Thankfully, we get Leer and some luck, but yeah, that could have gone really badly. I could have lost to Bruno, and that would have been pretty funny, but Bruno is pretty bad. Even in a situation where I'm actually at a pretty big disadvantage, I still not only win, but don't take any damage. So, yeah, good job, Bruno. And hilariously, as I've hinted to earlier, Agatha, who is normally the trickiest fight possibly in the entire run, is actually one of the easiest. Just what a bizarre run this is. Thanks to my high level and high speed, I outspeed every single one of her Pokemon. The only one that isn't a 1-hit KO is Golbat, and so long as it doesn't use a confusing move, which is a 50-50 chance, it's a win. Of course, it would help if I knew how to play this game and didn't just mash the A button and went for Dig. That was brilliant, and oh, there's the confusing move. However, after hitting with Blizzard, she helps me out and uses Haze, which will reset my badge boosts, even the ones I'm supposed to get, so that's a bit of a negative. But the positive is, I'm not confused anymore, and I knock out Golbat. Now, I'm not sure if I'll outspeed all of her Pokemon without those boosts. We'll see. Haunter, I'm not worried about. Dig knocks it out. Arbok, I'm not worried about. And, oh, well, that's easy. Okay. I thought I'd be outsped by the final Gengar, but she swapped into it, so I guess we won't find out. And, yeah. That's Agatha. What a weird Elite Four this has been, but one of the reasons I need Blizzard is for this next battle against Lance, the Dragon Champion so-called. I'm hoping it will one-shot the Dragonair and the Dragonite, but I don't know. Anyway, I don't really have a choice. I have to battle him, and hopefully Thunder should 1-hit KO Gyarados, but I don't even know if that's going to happen. Let's see. Well, I miss, so that's great, but thankfully it doesn't go for Hyper Beam, rather Dragon Rage. Really the best case scenario unless it went for Leer. Alright, this turn it hits, and look at that. Not a 1-hit KO. And, look at that. That's how much Hydro Pump does, and yeah. You know, listen. I was under no illusion that this was the run. I got a lot of good luck, but... Alright, listen, I was hoping Rattata could be in a much higher tier than it looks like it's going to be. It's still outperforming probably your expectations of it, but, you know, we're not at a high enough level. There's so many things that could have gone badly there, and we didn't even make it past Gyarados. I thought it would be an easy 1-hit KO with Thunder. I was kind of joking that it might not be, and it's time to level up some more. Alright, so we just passed the 6-hour in-game mark, and we're going to use the rare candies. Level 68, let's try this again. And the leveling up, combined with battling a bunch of other Pokemon, has really made Body Slam a lot more powerful. It's now doing over half. Miss with Takedown is good. Down goes Dugong. Will Thunder 1-hit KO Cloyster? Yes! Ah, with a critical hit. I mean, I say I'd like to know for my own knowledge whether that mattered or not, but hey, I guess I'll have to lose to find out. Thunder now does over half against Slowbro, and of course I get the Growl, and Thunder knocks it out. So Jinx will probably not be a 1-hit KO, but maybe it will be. I don't know, actually. Nope, still not particularly close, so that Growl is really annoying, but Ice Punch did a lot less. However, I still think Hydro Pump would knock me out at this HP. And I miss with Thunder, and oh, look at that, I was right. And once again, I tricked you. You probably thought I was going to win this battle, but it isn't doing this run justice if I don't show a bunch of losses against Lorelei, because you have no idea how much time I spent battling her. And so you have no idea whether this is going to be a win. I'm just a narrative genius, said no one. Anyway, I get a critical hit against Dugong, so no Growl there, pretty good. Will I 1-hit KO Cloyster? I'd really like to know that. Well, I'm going to have to wait another turn because I miss, and no. Darn it. Darn it. I really wanted that to be a 1-hit KO. Thankfully, Supersonic missed and I can knock out Cloyster, but that Cloyster being a 1-hit KO with Thunder would really make things a lot more consistent in this battle. This time after I hit with Thunder, Slowbro goes for Amnesia, so no Growl, meaning for once, Jinx is a 1-hit KO. Hey, that's pretty good. And now we just have to knock out Lapras, which does a boatload of damage. And I decide to go for Body Slam because it does roughly the same and it paralyzes, but that doesn't matter. But Blizzard misses, so that's good. And it doesn't knock it out, but Lorelei heals with Super Potion, and yeah. This still isn't looking that consistent. That was still like insane luck against Lapras. Like really insane luck. But hey, I guess once again I'll take it. It is a little bit deflating that all the leveling up I'm doing doesn't really make a difference. I mean, it will make a bit of a difference in the Bruno fight. This time, Hitmonlee is also a 1-hit KO, but that's pretty much the only difference. Oh, and I wanted to see if Blizzard would do half against Machamp, just out of curiosity. It didn't, but I froze Machamp, so yeah, this game really doesn't want Bruno to deal any damage against me. And right now, I'm literally 2 for 2. You have seen the 2 times I've actually gotten past Lorelei. And if you can believe it, this Agatha fight goes even smoother than the last one. Once again, 1-hit KO, but here's the part that goes really well. No, not a 1-hit KO with Blizzard, but a freeze. Another freeze. That's 2 and 3 Pokemon. And with that, the battle is over. It's just 1-hit KO, 1-hit KO, and yeah, 1-hit KO. And we've made it back to Lance, from your perspective fairly quickly. From my perspective, a bunch of time has passed, and that's the beauty of YouTube. So, will we knock out the Gyarados and actually get to attempt to battle the Dragon Pokemon? Well, let's find out right now. And so I use Thunder, and it hits, and it crits, and that's good, but I don't know if it's a 1-hit KO or not. But hey, we have made it as far as we ever have before. That is a good thing. But now will Blizzard hit? And will Blizzard be a 1-hit KO? It hits! It is a 1-hit KO! Celebrate good times, come on! And let's hope we can do it one more time we're not going to celebrate. Turns out we have ourselves a good old damage range. And it worked out for me that Lance decided to use a Hyper Potion, and I do get the range against Dragonair the second time, so we are on to Aerodactyl. I'm going to stick with Blizzard because it's way more accurate than Thunder and does the same amount of damage, plus maybe Freeze. Well, it almost knocks it out, and I tank that Hyper Beam pretty well. Aerodactyl's a pretty significant chance to get a critical hit, so that would have knocked me out, but good on you, Rattata. I'm very proud, and that should be it. I mean, there's no way Dragonite can tank a quadruple super effective Blizzard, right? Right? Come on, really? And it uses agility, so now it gets to outspeed. That's beautiful. And why not? Healing is good. Of course, I went for Body Slam because it's 100% accurate, but I got that paralysis, and I hit with Blizzard, and we have made it to the champion for the first time. This is maybe not the perfect Lance battle. Leveling up would be nice, but if we beat the champion, it doesn't really matter now, does it? Well, I guess it does for the rankings, but, you know, for the video, it would be over. So I got nothing more to say. Let's battle the champion. Now, I opt to go for Body Slam. It's the safe play. Thankfully, it goes for Sky Attack. Body Slam does enough to knock it out. Sky Attack, if it hits, I don't know how much damage that would have done, but I don't want to find out. Now, I really need to outspeed Alakazam and knock it out. Outspeed, knock it out. That is huge. That's 2 down. On to Rhydon. I'm not sure if Blizzard will knock it out. Does it? Not quite. Very close. And Tail Whip will raise all my other stats, except for, of course, my defense. And I can knock out Rhydon, so actually this battle's looking pretty great. With that additional attack, will Dig knock out Arcanine? I dig? No, but it goes for Roar. That is very good luck. And we knock out Arcanine. We are almost done. 2 more Pokemon left, but Exeggutor can be incredibly trolly. We're gonna go for Body Slam because it has such great special. It does just around half, no Hypnosis, of course. Of course, a 60% accurate move, how could it not hit? And now I just need to wake up before like 8 turns, which I think is the maximum. And I'll take first turn. Stomp does a little bit more damage because of the defense drop, but hopefully this Body Slam will be enough to knock out Exeggutor. Critical hit helps, and now I just need to hit with Thunder, and actually, will I even win? Who cares? Let's try it. All right, I'm so excited. Let's... No. No, no. What? There are no words to describe what just happened there. In case you are listening to this and not watching, I accidentally misclicked Blizzard. I then got hit with Blizzard, which is really weird why it wouldn't use a water move, but it got a critical hit. I do not know if the Blastoise's Blizzard would have knocked me out anyway, but the fact I couldn't even use Thunder and see how much it would do, which would give me useful information, was bad. Hence the frustration, hence the silence. And I'm gonna level up a little bit more. I mean, not too much, but there were a couple battles that felt a little inconsistent. I've already wasted enough time leveling up. What's 1 or 2 more levels? And at this point, I'm at a high enough level that I can actually make it through parts of the Elite Four very quickly, so I don't have to find other trainers. I've done this in other videos, and I just will avoid using elixirs because there's no way of buying those. And I did have another pretty lengthy run immediately after this one. I made it all the way to Lance's Dragonair. Got a little bit of bad luck, but hey, I gained the levels, and let's try once again to see if I can make it through and just get my rematch with the champion. So I'm going to speed through these battles because you've already seen a lot of different variations. We don't get the attack drop from Dugong, and even with all my leveling up, Cloyster is still not a 1-hit KO. Just, come on! Other than that, I get decent Lorelei luck. There's always going to be a luck component when it comes to Lapras because of how powerful it is. I am able to make it past the Lapras again and move on to Bruno. Speaking of Bruno, I should mention that despite the fact I could easily lose to Bruno, it is very conceivable that Rattata could lose to Bruno, especially because I was at a much lower level. Didn't happen. I only battled Bruno maybe 4 or 5 times, so that probably is why. But I do find it interesting that Rattata was one of the Pokemon I thought Bruno could actually be problematic for. But in the end, it's Bruno. And we move on to the Agatha lottery, except it's the lottery where I hold every ticket, and they're all winners. And once again, Golbat could have proven to be a little trolly. This battle definitely could have gone a lot worse, but nonetheless, it doesn't. I'm able to knock out all her Pokemon and make it back to Lance. And Lance is one where I'd really like to see things go a little different. I'd like Thunder to 1-hit KO Gyarados, and I'd like Blizzard to 1-hit KO Dragonite. Will those 2 things happen? I'm actually going to commentate this one because it's only my 4th attempt at Lance, so let's see if we can even up our record at 2-2. Well, not looking good. Miss with Thunder, hit with Hydro Pump. Yeah, looking kind of bad. And I get a critical hit, so I have no idea if it would have been a 1-hit KO or not. Great. Who needs information? Anyway, is Dragonair still a range? Something else I'd like to know. Well, first one again is knocked out in 1 hit. Second one, we get a crit. Unintentional rhyming, but that's just good timing. Okay, that one was intentional, but now we get to see if we'll knock out Aerodactyl. We were pretty close, and we get even closer. Thankfully, we get a supersonic miss because otherwise this would have been a loss and it would have been 1-3, and that would be bad. But now I'm not too optimistic I will knock out Dragonite in 1 hit. These 2 levels really don't seem to make much of a difference. And I guess with 25 special, that's to be expected. And okay, well, a critical hit will sort of render the whole will it 1-hit KO thing moot. But we have made it to the champion for just the 2nd time. The battle was going pretty smoothly until well, I'm actually not sure what would have happened if I used Thunder because it didn't happen. But hey, once I get to this point, it's always exciting. You know, there's always a chance to win. And I've been battling the Elite Four for a long time. It's why it's taken up such a long portion of the video. We're still at a good level. We're still at a decent time. Rattata is still doing pretty well for the 4th worst Pokemon statistically. Can it bring this home? Let's see. This time the battle gets off to a much worse start. After I hit with Body Slam, Pidgeot uses Mirror Move and hits me with Body Slam. I was very worried about this and why I considered using Blizzard, and didn't happen the first time, does happen this time, so I'm starting at only 100 HP. That might be what a single Hydro Pump would do, so have I already lost? Well, no point resetting, might as well try. We know Alakazam will be a 1-hit KO, that critical hit didn't matter, so that's good. Rhydon maybe will be a range, maybe I'll actually get the 1-hit KO, I don't know. Okay, so finally leveling up did have some impact. Unfortunately though, since I'm not hit with a status move, I will be doing quite a bit less damage to Arcanine, or at least a little bit less. So this probably will do about the exact same damage as last time. And I'm wrong, it does just a little bit more, but I still can't knock it out. Darn it. Anyway, it goes for roar once again. Good luck. And I knock out our canine. But now we have to deal with Hypnosis Executor. Please be kind. I go for Body Slam and it goes for Stomp. I would have much rather Hypnosis miss. Now, one attack from Blastoise will definitely knock me out. But I don't even know if I'm going to make it there. I don't think this will knock it out, and it doesn't. Thankfully, it goes for Barrage, so no Hypnosis. That's kind of odd. But yeah, I'm at 42 HP against his strongest Pokemon. How can this end poorly? Well, let's click Thunder. And how much damage does this do? All of it. Again! This is like, what, the second in 3 videos where the final battle is ended on just the flukiest critical hit. You know what? We're done. Nope. We're not resetting that. I have spent a really long time on the Elite Four. A win is a win is a win. We have won. And now it's time to look at our tier list. Rattata definitely benefited from some luck. There's no debate that if I had to level up more, it really starts to add up time-wise and, of course, level-wise. And this is why tier lists, while kind of fun, are also somewhat arbitrary, because I kind of felt like this was sort of an in-between the Charmander run and the Dratini run, even though we have a much better in-game time, which is usually one of the biggest metrics I use. Considering that critical hit probably saved me about half an hour, I'm just going to put it below Dratini and call it a video. Thank you for watching a 40-something minute video about Rattata. If you like videos where I play the game with random Pokemon, then subscribe. For the next video, I'm planning to do a solo run in one of the generations I haven't done yet on the channel. So if you want to vote on that, there's currently a poll on my Twitter, which will be in the description. It's just thejrose11. Speaking of which, I started to stream now. I don't stream Pokemon. It's other games. I try and do challenges or play difficult games. But that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much. Take care.